reminds me of something, but I just can't put my finger on it. Oh, well, what do you know? You know what? I should give this to her for Christmas, and maybe then she'll get off my back when I'm making these videos. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be working on a 2022 Fox Factory Series Float X2 rear shock. We're going to be doing a full service on this shock. Air can, damper, reservoir, and dials. This is most likely going to be a long video. We're going to change every possible seal that we can get to in this shock. But this is not to say that you will need to do everything that you see in this video, and I'm going to try and break it out as easy as possible, step by step, and mention what's optional and what isn't. At the end of this video, you should be able to use it as a reference in case something goes wrong. For instance, let's say your dial goes bad. We're going to be breaking it down to every detail, all right? So with that being said, let's get into the tools and parts needed for the job. There's not all that many tools needed for this job. Unfortunately, there are many custom tools needed for this job. But no matter the tool, the most important tool here, right there, safety glasses. Wear your safety glasses for this job, all right? Do not forget them. So for starters, you're going to want to write down your settings, right? Pen and a paper. Because over here you got air, high speed, low speed, compression, high speed, low speed, rebound. Now you are absolutely going to need 3mm and 6mm Allen keys for your dials. Very important. You will not be able to do this job without a special soft jaw. So this soft jaw is for a X2 air can. You're also going to need a 3/8 hole and a 1/25 hole and a resi hole. These two technically are, I'm going to consider optional. I'll try and talk about that later. So, but these two I think would be optional. The 3/8 and this one here, that's mandatory. You need it. You will also need flat soft jaws. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the air out of the system, right? Write down your PSI. Then we need to open up the air can. Well, first we're going to take out a clip with a pick, but we're going to need to open up the air can. Two options over here. This is a Fox tool, part number 398-00-00-41419. Very expensive tool. This is an alternative tool that does the exact same job. You could buy these aftermarket like I have, right? They're like literally a third of the bucks, if not less, maybe a quarter of the dollars than this thing is. The difference is this has protection for your Kashima coating. This doesn't. But you could do that with tape, right? You just tape around the Kashima coating with shipping tape, and that will definitely help. But we're going to have to remove the air can, both air cans, with that tool. Then we're going to remove the top eyelet. You don't need to use this. You could use a regular wrench. This is an eyelet removal and installation tool, so this just makes it a little bit easier, right? So then we remove the eyelet. We take out all the air cans. And then we're going to go in there. We're going to take out the oil. Take out the oil. We need to take out the bleed screw, 2mm Allen for that. You're going to need a bucket for the oil to come out, right? Then we need to separate the bearing assembly. This is another Fox tool. I'll put the part number down. Again, this is an aftermarket. You can buy Foxes, which is expensive, or you can get an aftermarket. In fact, there's people that sell these packs. This one guy on eBay, actually a guy that sells this one and that one, sells packages of just the X2 tools for a lot less. And I mean a lot less than what you would buy it from Fox. Now, if you can use this tool, you're going to need a 30mm crow's foot in order to torque it down, because you really want to torque down that bearing, right? You don't want to just let it go. Now, we're going to pull out the bearing with the piston on the inside. We have an option. Personally, I say stay away from it. Don't bother doing it. There's a seal in the rebound shaft. How critical is it? I don't think it's all that critical. In fact, I wouldn't call it critical at all. But if we want to get to it, we got to remove the piston. 19mm nut on that piston. You're going to need a 19mm socket to do that, right? Then we remove the top eyelet. Optional again. It has Loctite red in there. We might need heat. We might not need heat. That could be done if you have a trunnion tool, or trunnion mount, you're going to need a trunnion tool. If you have a standard mount, you could use any wrench, any Nipex, any adjustable wrench, plier, anything that will allow you to open it. You'll see that later, right? So then we have the option to work on the dials. I say stay away from the dials. I'll talk about it later. There's two seals on the outside of each dial that you could do very easily. But in this video, I am going to do the seals on the inside as well. And that could turn into a major pain in the butt, right? So I say stay away from it. But to take out the dials, again, two more special Fox tools. You can buy Foxes or you can buy the aftermarkets. Okay, now you're going to need a 16 millimeter for this tool over here. If you buy this tool, even Fox is going to be the same thing because it's the exact same replica as a Fox tool, right? Loctite blue, Loctite red to seal everything back up later. We're going to do whatever. And then comes time for the bleed. Now, the way I do my bleed, shipping tape, rubber glove, and a rubber band. We'll go over that later. You are absolutely going to need a syringe with this special Fox fitting. There's another cheap fitting. I can't find my other syringe piece. There's a cheap fitting out there that only costs like $4 as opposed to this one that I bought a while back, which is like, I don't know, $40. I'll try and put it in the description section. I just can't find the hose anywhere. It's so many things I can't find, I swear. So then during the bleed, we're going to want to set the IFP. Highly recommend this IFP tool. This tool will make your life easier in more ways than one when it comes to this particular shock. Or you could just use a caliper. I use both. I use the caliper to verify the IFP depth. We're going to need a torque wrench for everything. Then if you want to fill up with an air pump, you are going to need an air pump adapter. Part number below, but you could use anybody's. It doesn't have to be Fox's, right? It could be anybody's. It could be RockShox. They all fit, basically. You buy them really cheap on eBay. And that is pretty much it, guys. There might be one or two tools here and there that'll come in handy, like potentially a needle nose plier I should have mentioned. Keep one handy. Needle nose plier actually might come in handy over here. Again, picks. Picks are going to be very important over here. Try and get very strong, thin picks. Okay? So that's pretty much it, guys. If there's anything else missing, we'll go over it as we do this service. Next up, let's go over the parts needed for the job. As for parts, we are going to need a seal kit. Part number 803-01-921. So I believe this takes care of the, takes care of the 21, 22, 23. You know what? Might actually take care of the 24 as well. So I don't remember top of my head. I'd have to go look into that just to be 1,000,000% sure. So, which I am going to be doing a service on a 24 as well. So just an FYI on that one. As for oil, we need 4-weight oil for this shock. Now this for the damper. For the air can, we have two choices now, right? Fox fluid is what we used in the past, but for all their shocks now, and it only makes sense because they've been using this in their lower forks forever, any 28-weight oil will work as well. So I'm going to go with 20-weight on this one. All right, let's get into working on this shock. Before we get started, make sure that the shock is completely clean. Make sure in all these little small areas, there's no dirt, sand, any kind of mud, anything, right? Because, I mean, that could wreak havoc later when we're putting it all together. So the first thing we are going to do is write down all our settings. So let's take off the cap. Let's put in, give myself a little bit more room. Put in our pump. And that's it. 199. So we are at 199 plus, let's say, I don't know, plus 2 to 5. Now we're going to slowly take out the air, right? There is a lot of air in this thing. Slowly take it out, especially at the end. We want to get both chambers empty. See, even though it's 0, there's still air coming out. So be careful with that. You don't want extra pressure in there for no reason. So now this is gone. Next, we count the clicks. Now, Fox counts clicks by going to the full close position for everything. But we need everything in the fully open position. So I count them from where they are at to the fully open counterclockwise position for everything. Okay, you could do it fully closed, count them, and then go back open. I actually forget sometimes to actually put them fully back open after I counted them to the close. So that's why I just go straight to the fully open. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, when you get to the last clicks for each of these, after the last click, there will be some room. Don't force it, okay? That last click is that last click. If you can't turn it more than with your fingers, you're done. Go back to that click. So this one was 3, high speed, 3. That was our 6 millimeter. Now we're going to pull our 3 millimeter and we're going to count. The low speed is on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 5 for low speed compression. Now we're going to count our low speed rebound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's it. 11. 11. And our rebound is over here, our high-speed rebound. Clockwise closes it, counterclockwise opens it. So we're going to go counterclockwise to the open. 2, 3, 4, 4. And that's it. Put this guy on the side. Next, we open her up. To open it up, first we have to take out the circlip, right? So mount them on your vise. You don't have to do it on the vise. It just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, and then there's 2 notches over here. Turn this until the notches face you, right? And then there is our little clip. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our clip, make these 2 notches. We're going to take our clip and we are going to bring it where the edge of it is going to be in between this notch and this notch, right? So we need those aligned in order to be able to hold it down on one side. And then we pop it out. Okay, and then we just walk it out the other way, actually. I went the wrong way. Then we're just going to walk them out the wrong way, lift them up here, and that's it. Now we should be able to just roll them out. After we get past this little notch here, we are good. Now again, we need to make sure that these notches in the air can are lined up with the notch above them, right? And what we're going to do is pick up the air can. And there we go. Next, we want to separate the inner air can from the eyelet. Now, there's a special Fox tool over here, part number 398000419. Very expensive tool. You could buy aftermarket tools that work just as well. The difference is this has protection, which comes in very handy. This doesn't have protection, right? But you can put tape around here, around your damper body in order to protect it from getting scratched. And the way this works, be careful putting it in. This can be a really good crack. Push down on it, right? So it doesn't dislodge on you. And good pressure. There we go, right? Now just move a little bit. And the rest we should be able to do by hand. Spin it around. So again, you don't need this tool. This one is like, whew, a quarter the price. All right. Next, we want to separate the eyelet from the shaft. We're going to need a soft jaw with a 3/8 hole in it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is clean the shaft of all grease. All right. Then let's see if we can bring it down. Let it stick. Nope, can't. So basically hold it down. You know, put into your soft jaw. Be careful here. Okay. And then we are going to lock it down. There we go. All right. Now, a wrench. I have an eyelet removal tool over here. Nip-X, adjustable wrench. Anything that will allow you to unscrew this. Okay. So let's give it tight down good. And tight down better than that. And there we go. That's our rebound clicks. Now we want to separate the locking ring, okay? In order to do that, you are absolutely going to need this, a soft jaw for X2, okay? We don't have a choice with that. So what we want to do is grab the ribs with one of these guys over here. Now you could buy the Fox one or you could buy aftermarket ones like I mentioned before, right? So let's clean the ribs. Here, well. Okay, then we're going to take this guy. I'm going to put him in. I'll bring him to the bottom, top rib, I should say. Okay, we're going to clamp him down. Lock him down well. This time I'll use the other tool, since we already used that one and proved that the aftermarket ones work. Okay, like I said, the difference with this one is it has that protection. Now we're going to take this guy, put him in. Same thing over here. Hold down on him, find the teeth. There we go. Hold down on him. That's going to be, again, a good crack. There we go. Loosen it. Remove this guy. And now we should be able to spin it by hand. And we want to remove that lock ring. Okay, and that's it. And take out our air can. Next, we want to remove the reservoir cap. There's a plug in the cap that covers the valve, okay? Schrader tool, take it and unscrew the cap. Take it out, on the side for now. Now, inside's a regular Schrader valve. Grab a piece of cloth and that 3mm Allen you used for your knobs and just let the air out. All right. Now that we let the air out, well, technically what we can do is take out our valve, inspect that guy, make sure he's all good. Check the Teflon seal on him. Yeah, he's good. Put him on the side, all right? So now what we do, press down the cap, all right? And we have a metal ring over here. Now you might, well, there you go. You could, sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but try and get this out with your fingers. Basically just scoop underneath it and it will pop out, right? Or sometimes use a plastic pick or a very blunt tool like this one here with blunt edges, and so you don't scratch the inside, all right? So let's put that on the side, and now what we're gonna grab is a pick with a hook, go underneath there and just pop this guy out. Done. Next, what we're gonna do is take out the oil. There is a bleed screw at the bottom over here, right? We're gonna grab our 2mm and open it up. And we're gonna cycle this guy and let the oil out. Watch out your IFP from the pressure. All right. As always, folks, when it comes to oil, please dispose of it appropriately. Don't put it down a sink. Don't put it down a toilet. Don't put it down any drain. Don't put it down. Don't throw it outside. Don't put it in the trash. Put it in a bottle, clearly marked danger. Don't drink. And then give it to a local bike shop, auto shop, somewhere that they could dispose of it appropriately. Next, we're going to take our bleed screw. Make sure the O-ring is on it, right? Just put it back in for now, just so we don't lose it. Okay, we're going to take our shock, put it back in the vise. Lock it down. Now we're going to take off, well, we're going to open up the whole damper assembly. So we're going to take off these 2 screws first. So we can take out that metal cap. All right, and the spacers, we're just going to put this as an assembly on the side. Next, we remove the bearing housing. We're going to need a special tool for that. It's a 4-nipple Fox tool, nipples. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tool. You could use adjustable wrench, nip axe, anything that allow you to unscrew it, but later we're going to have to torque it down, and that's where a crow's foot comes in handy. 30mm crow's foot. Yeah. It's going to be a good crack. There we go. Now let's just unscrew it until it becomes nice and loose by hand. Unscrewing them, and then we're going to pop the whole mechanism out. Okay, there we go. That is our bearing and our compression stack or rebound. Well, yeah, and our piston basically. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to separate them. We're going to put them on the side like this over here. We're going to deal with all these parts later. Now we're going to take our seal, put that on the side, and our sag ring, and put that on the side. The next one is optional. You do not have to do this, and well, I would say I don't recommend you do this. There really is no need, but again, this is going to be a full service in this video, right? We're going to detach this housing from the top eyelet over here. In order to do that, we're going to need a 1 1/4 inch soft jaw or 1 1/4 inch hole in a soft jaw. We might need some heat, and this is a trunnion mount, so I'm going to need a trunnion mount tool. If you have a standard mount, any kind of wrench, anything that will remove a standard tool, right? Now, before we put it in there, we're going to have to do some maintenance over here, and we want to be really careful. We don't want to scratch anything. We want to make sure everything is clean, free of oil or grease on this outer housing. And we also want to do the same with the soft jaw. Great. All right, just make sure I get good grip. Put them nice and even. 1 1/4. All right, let's open up a little bit more. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of towel, just put it inside so oil doesn't come out. Whatever little oil is in there is probably going to come out. Okay, this looks good in the camera. Now, when we attach them, connect them to the bottom. Don't connect them over here, because this way, if there's any scratches, it won't affect you over here. Over here's the travel. This will affect you, right? So at least over here, it won't affect you as much, put it that way. So we're going to put them as low as we can at the bottom. Okay, we're going to time down. Don't over tighten them. Okay, now, again, I have a trunnion mount, so I'm going to put my trunnion mount tool. Now, what I'm going to do, there's Loctite red in there. Let's see if I could get them first without heating them up. Actually, I can't. Yep, okay. So, if you can't, use some heat on them, basically. Just put a little bit of heat, but put the heat not on the Kashima coating, on the top of the eyelet over here, okay? Just heat them sort of like, let's say, that, right? From a distance, just heat them up a little bit. You don't need like literally 3-4 seconds. It's all you're going to need. You just want to warm up that Loctite red that's in there. But since I was able to do this with my hand, okay, and there we go. Take out those remnants, and that's what we want it to get to. All that just for this. That's what I'm saying. Not worth it, guys. You really don't have to do this. So next we have the IFP. We need to remove it. A couple of ways you could do it. You could grab a long needle nose plier and sort of grab onto it and pull it up. You will blemish it, but on this side it doesn't matter as much as the other side does, right? So I have an IFP tool, Fox IFP tool, which has this ridge, which happens to match the width of this, well, this mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the tool, I'm going to sink it in that mount, and I'm going to sort of hold it, make sure it's on it, hold it at a bit of an angle, and I should be able to pull out the IFP. And that's it. Next, we're going to take out the reservoir housing. Now, to do that, you're going to need a soft jaw with a 1.29-inch hole. I'm going to need my mount again, my trunnion mount. If you have a standard eyelet, you just use a regular wrench or whatever it is, right? So the first thing we're going to do, spray the outside, make sure we got good grip. Okay. Also, make sure that these are free of grease. Okay. So, there's going to be some oil in there. I'm just going to put a little bit of cloth to absorb any oil as opposed to it falling out. Actually, I probably should do the same to the top. Okay. Now we're going to put this thing, I'm going to bring it all the way to the base over here. All right. Come on, don't collapse on me. There we go. All right, let's bring them here. Have these guys out there. And we don't need to crank down on him too hard. Chances are you don't need heat on this guy. But I will need my mount. Okay. These guys back in here. All right. And plenty heat. Nope, I won't need heat. There we go. Now be careful lifting him. There we go. Watch out for that guy right there. We do have a spring in here, okay? So now we're going to take out parts as in order from here down. So we have a spring. Remember, the wide part goes towards the knob. So we're going to place them down like this, right? Then we have a, well, basically a valve. We're going to place him, we took him off like this. We're going to place him down like that. And we have our assembly, and this is the O-ring that we're going to want to change, okay? We're not going to take this apart. We're just going to change that O-ring when the time comes. Now we take him out of here. Next, we're going to remove our knob and the switch, because there is a seal in here. So take the knob, turn it until you see the 2mm Allen. Unscrew it, don't remove it, just unscrew it, right? So it's nice and loose. It won't come off over here, but it should come off the actual knobs at the bottom. And then take a plier, grab it by one of these teeth, and pick it up. And there's the seal we need to change. So again, we're going to take this guy in order and put him like that. You guys can see that. Our reservoir is now completely empty. Next, let's remove the dials. To remove the dials, again, we're going to need 2 special Fox tools. You could either buy Foxes or you could buy them aftermarket, again, on eBay, so on and so forth. They work just as great. Just search for these part numbers and you will find alternatives, right? The way they hook on just like that, and you unscrew them, right? So first we're going to clamp down. Make sure to clamp them down good. All right. We'll start with the high speed or with the compression. And take them on here. Lined up nipples. And oh boy, this guy had it on here tight. I'm going to take them. I'm just going to unscrew them. Leave them like that for now. For the other one, we're going to need a 16mm socket. Okay. Oh, that was a lot easier. Okay. Let's take them off so you can see them better. Should be able to do them by hand. Maybe not. Great. Okay. There's a couple of seals we have to change there. This guy's going to be stubborn. Okay, I might need to get the 6mm. Yep. If that happens, grab the 6mm and you should be able to just pop them out. Great. Oh well, don't have to worry about that one. And 2 seals that we need to change over here. Guys, that is everything outside of 2 seals in here that we're going to take care of when we clean everything and replace our seals, because that is everything. This is knocked everything out of place. There we go. So this is everything, guys. All right, that's our air can assembly. That is our piston assembly. And this is our reservoir and our knob assembly. From here, we clean, change seals, and assemble. Hey folks, before I continue over here, if I could ask for one thing, if you are liking this video, please click the like button. It would be super appreciated if you could do so, all right? So with that being said, I have opened up the seal kit. Lots of seals in this seal kit. If I was you, I'd place them in order by size to make them easier to identify, okay? So what we're going to be doing from here on is cleaning, changing seals, and assembly, and we are going to do it in parts just like we took everything apart. Air can last, damper second, reservoir area first, and well, that's it. All right, so first we're going to start off with our head. Now in here, there are 2, if not 3 seals, okay? So there's one over here. All right, so this is the reservoir, this is the main damper body. So that's for the main damper body, and I believe there might be one at the bottom. If memory serves me correct. Yes, there is. Yay, memory serves me correct. It's getting rarer and rarer these days. All right, so these are the same size. These, actually, no, this one's a little bit smaller. So, and then in the reservoir, we should have another one. So that is 3 seals. So this is our reservoir seal, right? So next what we're going to do, I'm going to take alcohol. And you know what? Let's just make sure everything cleans out real well. Let's take out our bleed screw, and there is a seal under here as well that will change out. Why not? They give them to us. Let's do it. Again, we are doing a full service here. All right. Clean it all best you can. And get in here. All right. Let's clean the outside. Make sure we got no dirt outside that might fall in later. Okay, so we have our old seals. Now we're going to take them. Actually, let's start with the bottom one. So that is this guy here for sure. So that's the old one. This is the new one. What we're going to do, put a little grease, slick honey, slick oleum, SRAM butter. Okay. We're going to take him and we're going to make sure he's at the bottom seat. So there's a seat all the way at the bottom. Make sure you get this in the right seat, right there, if you can see that well. So sink him down. Probably going to want to flop around like they always do. Oh, come on. Okay. There we go. Oop, nearly there. Make sure he is in the seat, right? So again, in. Yes, so he's sitting at the bottom seat right there, all the way at the bottom. All right, just make sure he's there. Now, grab the second one, which is a larger one. That's probably this one over here. Yes, it is. This one feels thicker. What about this one? This one feels more consistent size-wise. Is good. Okay, let's use that one instead, even though I think it's the same. Shrimp butter, put him in. Now he goes on the seat underneath the threads. So make sure he sits in the right spot, right there. Whoops. Oh. Right in there. Right there. And you go in there. Oop. And we got this side over here. All right. Now we got this one over here. It's got to be this one. It's not going to be this one. This one's actually, it could be this one. Oh, it's this one. That one's just a little bit smaller. Okay. And he goes in the seat at the bottom. All right. Make sure he's sitting right. Then we have our bleed screw. Now let's take him. We're going to put him on here for now temporarily so we don't lose him. Put him on the bottom. And this guy's done. As for the dials, there's two options over here. One, the easy way. Change out the seals that are visible. Two, the not so easy way. Change out the seals that are visible, but also go to the inside and change the seals in there. I highly recommend you just do the outside unless you're having issue with your low speed compression and your low speed rebound knobs, okay? Or actually, there's two seals in this one, your high speed compression, low speed compression knob, or your rebound, the low speed rebound knobs. If you're not having issues, just change the ones on the outside, put them back in as we're gonna do later, and you're done. If you are having issues, well, we're going to go through the whole thing on both of them, okay? And it's going to take a bit, guys, but this is optional. Just stick with the outside if you're not experiencing issues with your dials, okay? First, we're going to start off with our rebound. Now, we want to separate this screw from the rest of this knob first, right? So to do that, we're going to need a 3mm on this side. You might be able to do it by hand. Yep, I was able to do it by hand. There you go. If you can't do it by hand, don't use a 3mm on that side. Use the tool, okay, at a minimum, or a 3/8 hole on a soft jaw, which I'm going to do in a second. You're going to see. So first, we're going to unscrew this whole cap over here. This is like a rebound piston, basically. It's not all that much going on over here, but I'm going to leave it intact as is. Put it screw side down, okay? Don't touch that. Leave it there. So now we have our low speed rebound knob. Remember, we put it all the way to the open position, which brought it all the way out. If we turn it back in, right, we will expose a clip. Now, don't put it all the way down, but if you see, there is a clip over there. Now, the easiest way is to get leverage. This is actually a pretty difficult clip to get out. Now, if you have a 3/8 or a soft jaw with a 3/8 hole, use that to hold on to it. Or you could try and do it by hand and a pick by going in here and trying to move it. Oh, wait a second. There we go. So you could do it like this. Hopefully this will work. Need a strong pick here, guys. Basically what we're trying to do is just lift it up. So it's a C-clip. Go to one of the edges, try and get underneath it best you can, And come on, come on, come on. There we go. Come on, come on. And walk it out. Oop. Come on. Try not to damage it. Come on. Nearly there. Like I said, oh, he is a stiff one. I just bent him a bit, but it's okay. We could straighten him out later and reuse them, although we do get extras in the kit. Come on, man. Now you're being ridiculous. If I grab him now from here and see if I can walk him out. There we go. And we could easily fix this guy, worst case scenario, okay? So our clip is out. Now, get our 3mm. Now we're going to unscrew. Just watch out when we unscrew them all the way. There is a bearing or a ball that's, well, making those click sounds, okay? So we're going to take them out. Right now he's riding on the seals. And be careful, because there is a ball in there with a spring. And there's the ball, 2 balls. Be careful, and the spring. All right, and that is our inner seal. So now we have 2 seals here we need to change. We got this one here. Let's take them out. That's on the outside. And now we have to remove the one on the inside. Now these sometimes they can be a pain in the butt. All right. Give it a little bit more stability. Let's do them this way and try and flip them around. Come on. Like I said, I hate these small O-rings. Come on, man, give me a break. Just go underneath there. There we go. Well, let's see if I can get them. Stretch them out all the way around. There we go. But I have to go through just get an O-ring out. Okay, so that's our second O-ring. So now our third one's there. We're going to deal with that one at the end. For now, what we're going to do is clean all this as well. Put a little bit of alcohol on those guys. Clean him. Actually, let's do this. Him thin enough. Can I make him thin enough? Let's go in here. There we go. All right, so now we need to change our seals. So this is the inside seal. Oh yeah, he's over here. Might as well clean him. Usually not all that much to clean here. Okay. So this is our inside seal. So now we have to go over here and try and find him. Old one, new one. Take some strand butter. Put him on here. Take him, put him down. There we go. So he's done. Now, take this guy, find his replacement, grease on him, take him, slide him in. Okay, so he's done. Now, we have our balls. Well, at least I hope you have your balls. And our spring. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take some grease. I'm going to put in the hole. Just like that. We're going to take our spring, we're going to put that in the hole with the grease. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take grease, we're going to put on top of that part of the spring and on top of this hole. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ball and we're going to put it on one side. Just don't over push out the spring. And then we're going to take the other ball, put it on the other side. Okay. Now we're going to squeeze them together and fit them in. All right. Take our 3mm. Yeah, nice and smooth clicks. And go pretty much to the end and turn back 2 clicks just to play it safe. All right. So now we want to make sure the inside here is free of grease. We don't want dirt to collect. This is exposed to the outside now, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do, try and, because our kit gives us 1 small and 1 medium, or 1 small and 1 larger. I'm going to save that small one for the compression knob because I know we're going to destroy the one on the compression knob. So this one we're going to save. Basically just try and make him a little bit round. Pops in nicely. And the way we're going to do that, bring him down to the part that seemed like it was squished in and sort of press down on him on the flats. Make life easier here, get a little bit more. And yeah, not exactly the best angle, but you guys get it. We're just trying to push him in. Okay. Yeah, oop, nearly had him. Oop. There we go. And he is in. Let's test him. Basically, that clip stops him from coming out. That's all he does. And that brings us to the end of our clicks, right? So, there we go. So never force it past that 1 point. Always bring it back to the first click. That's your click 0. Now, we have 1 more seal here. What we're going to do first is attach him. Now we have him in a fully open position, right? We just unscrewed him all the way clockwise. So we're going to take this guy, screw him clockwise. Now, I have no torque specs. For some reason, Fox doesn't give any kind of information for their dials that I know of, at least for 21 to 23 shocks. So basically, the way I do it is a good fist height, right? I can't imagine it needing more than that. Basically, we're hitting a base anyway. There we go. So, now let's try it again. There we go. Now we change our last seal. Okay. So that's the new one. That's the old one. Take him. Well, let's clean the seat. Okay. Take some Saran butter. Put them in here. And done. Rebound is done. Now we do the compression. As for the compression, we have to separate it. You don't have to, again, this is optional. You could just change these 2 O-rings here or seals over here, but there are 2 on the inside that we are going to change. So we're going to open up the whole thing, but we have to be a little bit more careful because there is a shim stack in here, okay? I'll probably break it all open just in case you guys mess up, but ultimately it's not all that hard. Just take your time. So for starters, this is a 12mm nut, okay? Now over here, we don't have to worry about it as much as we do with the rebound. It's a much stronger knob. We're going to take 6mm on one side, 12mm on the other one, and loosen it. There we go. So I just loosened it. Doesn't take all that much pressure, right? Gotta do it by hand. Yes, okay. So there is a nut over here. All right. So we have a nut. Like I said, I'm breaking this out just in case. We have a spring, a cone spring. The cone part goes down. Okay. Then we have a shim. Right. Then we have a piston. So 2 different sides to the piston. The part with 3, I don't know what to call these. 3 sections goes up. This part that looks like a star goes down. Okay. Then we have a shim stack, and leave the spring for now. So we have a shim stack. Should I break it up for you guys? Yeah, you know what, just in case. So this is a housing for the spring. Okay, and before that comes a shim stack. So shim stack is going to be large, right? And then we got one of these guys here, then large, and that's the shim stack. Okay, at least for this one. Then we have our little cap over here that holds our spring. Then we have 2 more smaller shims at the base over here. Those are spacers, I bet, more than anything. Okay, now over here, be careful. Well, first we have to take out the C-clip. So there is a C-clip in here that we need to take out, okay? Give it a mount. Put it on the mount. My frame, yeah, not exactly the best spot, but you guys should get the idea. Where is, there it is. So put this groove in line where you can see it. Come on. There we go. Okay, now spin this guy around. Put half a minute, there we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, sometimes leverage helps big time. He's supposed to be the easy one. Honestly, I've never had this much issue taking this one out, guys. Not that I've taken out like hundreds of these. There we go, for crying. Oh, the other side slips in. Look at this. Unbelievable. I have never experienced this before. For crying out loud. Jeez. Man. Pain in the butt. Okay, now we're going to be careful. So we're going to lift the housing, right? Just like that. Underneath the housing, put that down. You have 3 bearings and 3 screws. Just tap them down. That's 1, 2, 3 bearings. And 3 springs, not screws. And see if we get the screws out here. Try. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. All right, so now screw them fully clockwise, and he should pop out. So we have a seal over here that we're going to get to in a bit. So this is one seal that we need to change on the inside, and then in here there's another seal. The problem is this seal is the hardest seal. Again, just like with the rebound, right? If he's screwed all the way out in the fully open position, fully counterclockwise, you're basically covering that C-clip. Screw them fully clockwise and then take them out a click. And we expose that C-clip. So the C-clip's right down there, if you can see that, right? And this one, they give us, it's a little bit easier, this one, because you have these corners over here that allow you to get underneath. Now this guy we could destroy in order to get him out. Just bend him real good, or else you're never going to get him out. At least, if anybody knows of a better way to get this one out, let me know. But I've never been able to get him out without seriously bending him. Okay, so basically he's sitting on top of the screw right now, and that's what we want at a minimum. That's what we want, right? So now we have 2 options over here. There we go. Now he's completely sitting on top of the screw. Now what we can do is grab that 3mm and see if it'll bring it out. Go fully clockwise or counterclockwise, and it pushed it out, but didn't fully bring it out. So let's get them a little bit more bent. That definitely stretched him our way, the way we wanted it to go. And he should come out. There we go. Now I have him for sure. And there he is. But I'm not too worried about him because they give us a replacement. All right. So let's just leave him on the side. So now, again, go fully counterclockwise. Be careful, because just like the other one, there's a ball. Don't mix them up. Let's put these three with these springs. This guy here. Come on. There we go. Ta-da! Oops. So, again, we have two balls with a spring on the inside, and we have that seal over here. And there's no other seal in there. All right. So, next what we're going to do is clean it all up. Let's remove the balls on this guy. Right? That's one. Two. Ball's stuck at the end of him. Ugh, another little seal. So we got a seal over here we need to change. Pull him out first since he's the easy one, because I'm sure we'll be messing with the other one for like, I don't know, 2 days. Okay. So that's one here. Ugh. What do you know? Huh. I lucked it out. Like I said, sometimes they come out quick. Sometimes, yeah, wear a helmet so you don't pull out your hair. Okay. There goes that. All right. Let's start cleaning and replacing. Okay, I put the low speed compression components in here. Clean the other ones after separately. So first, let's make sure there's no grime on this guy or grit. Clean them well. Clean the threads well. Clean the seat well. And just in case, ooh, man, if I wasn't in frame, sorry about that, guys. Clean the spring seat well. See what I mean? Okay. That takes care of him. Let's clean this guy real well inside. Let's see if I get one of these guys down here. Which one will fit? Okay, and then we could take one of these guys. All right, let's give him one last spray down. Clean corner, spin him. Always tearing gloves. Come on. Don't break. A lot of dirt in there. Like I said, it was all gritty. Okay. Oh yeah, that's looking much cleaner inside. Good stuff. Now let's clean our balls. All right. Those are clean. Clean our spring. Let it dry off. Okay. Now we find replacement seals. Old one, new one. This one over here. Old one, new one. Okay. Let's put grease on them. Oops, too much grease. This guy's like real stiff. There we go. Down. Down. Oh, one more hump to go over. There we go. Whew. Wow, jeez. Put some grease on them. Now, just like with the other one, we're going to take some grease, we're going to put in the hole. We're going to sink in our spring. Take some grease, put on each side. One ball. Two balls. And take them. Camera overheated just before I was about to pop it in. So again, we have our bearings. Make sure you squish your bearings in, and we push in the dial. Grab our 3mm. Clockwise. Put some pressure on it until he reaches the end. Right there. Once he reaches the end, go back till you hear that one click. Right? So he's at the end, and then one click in. Right? So then we have this O-ring over here. It's the other inner O-ring. Some grease on him. And probably should have put them the other way. That was dumb. Oh, well. There we go. Oh, grease. There we go. All right. So I opened the bag that came with the kit, and we have 2 C-clips and 1 chain ring. Large C-clip and the smaller C-clip that changes the one we destroyed, right? So what we need to do is put the C-clip in. So the way we want to do this is sink the backside in first, and then try to get it in. Yeah, that's pretty good right there, actually. So now we should be able to, there we go. It popped in. Yay. Now we test it. Where is our 3mm? So let's bring it out. Let's go fully open, fully counterclockwise. Boom. That's what stops it from coming out, right? So when you go to the end, first clip in. Yeah. Great. Brought it too far out. So what happens when you bring it too far out, it gets stuck. So whenever your knobs get stuck, that's because you brought it too far out. There we go. All right, so the first click in, never force it. Once you get to a point where you hear a click and then it just turns a little bit and it stops, that's the end, guys. You never go beyond that. So you bring it back to that first click, okay? So now we are at the fully open position. So next, let's clean the rest of our parts so we can finish this guy up. Leave this guy here for now. Alcohol. Let's bring these guys. These guys will just clean. Leave it as is. All right. We have a seal over here we need to change. We'll do him at the end. Okay, clean the inside real well. Get all the dirt out of there. Make sure the threads are clean. Okay, that takes care of him. This is our little mount for the bearings that make the clicks for the high-speed compression. That's what they land in when they make their clicks. Now let's make sure the bearings are clean. 2 and 3. Quick rub on the springs. All right. Now let's put that together. So to put that together, grab our high-speed compression. We already changed out the seals. Grab our 6mm. Turn in clockwise. Put a little bit of force on him so he grabs. Actually, sorry. Turn in counterclockwise, my bad. Counterclockwise until you reach the end, okay? So we are at the end now. Don't tighten them at the end, just touch the end, okay? So now we're going to grab a little bit of grease. And we're going to put on the top of the holes where the springs go. 2 and 3. Oops, a little too much grease there. And 3. Now what we're going to do, take our springs, sink them in the holes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 3. Ah, there we go. Now we're going to put a little bit of grease on top of each spring to hold our balls. One, 2, 3. Jeez, man, I'm just running into bad luck today. Now, these lines, they go down, okay? There is that groove on the side. We need to match that groove with this, well, you'll see. Can't think of a name for it right now for some reason. Okay, and this should go up and down. Now we put in our C-clip, so this one replaces this one. To put the inner C-clip in, looking at the two, this one's obviously a lot thicker than this one. So I'm going to put that one inside. I'm going to use the old one. And basically what I'm going to do is compress a little bit so he has a little bit more spring. Okay. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to put him over and done. And he's in. Okay, and what we can do just to play it safe is squeeze down on him, tighten him into a spot so he has a nice comfortable seat. Okay. Now that part's done. We are going to take the spacer, this spacer, check our bearings. Everything should be good. We're going to take our spring cap, okay, just like that, and it should be able to squeeze in just like that. Okay, so small, larger, largest. Take this guy and make sure that the other guy's sitting outside him perfectly. And then we take this guy. Now, like we said, we'll change the seal after. So like we said, the 3 section sticks up. At least that's how it all was when I took it apart. And we put in our shim, cone spring, wide part goes down. And then we have our screw. Screw this guy in. Make sure it all flexes. To finish them off, we want to make sure we are in the fully open position, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that 6mm, we're going to put in a flat jaw. Okay, I have no torque specs over here, so I'm just assuming, again, just a nice hand tight. All right, so I'm thinking about 5 Newton-meters max. Okay, so I don't like the way that thing's sitting, to be honest. There we go. That's sitting better. To count the clicks, sometimes you could get a little bit stiff as you bring them all the way out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a soft jaw, right? 1-inch hole, just to protect the threads. And basically we were in the fully open position, right? To test that, we're going to go out. So I can't go further out. Don't force it out. That's click number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's the last click. All right, again, never go beyond that point, right? Even though you feel like you might be able to. So that's the high speed. Now let's see the low speed. Oh, what is this? Oh, 4. Where'd that come from? Where's the 3? There's the 3. Okay, we're all the way in a closed position. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yay! All right. Our dials are working. Now all we need to do is change these 2 outer seals. That's why I left them to the end, just in case the new ones got damaged in some way or form. So that's the bottom one. This is the top one. Okay. And let's look over here, and wow, I don't have any. No, I do right here. What am I talking about? Jeez, man, I'm blind. Okay. So the old ones, and they pretty much match. So let's put some grease on them. Let's put this guy, absolutely, they have to match. They're going into the same tube, so they have to be the same. Okay. Some grease on this guy. All right. Let's clean any excess grease. Dials are done. Now we assemble the rest like you would, well, a normal job, all right? I'll be back. First, let's put in the high-speed compression dial. Put the soft jaw in a vise. Okay, we have grease on our O-rings. Make sure that we have a nice little coat over here. Okay. And put this guy in. Always hand first, guys. Always screw them by hand first. These are fine threads. In fact, let me use this guy to bring them down. There we go. So he is in there. Once again, let's test him. Yep. Low speed is good. Put him back into the fully open position. Test the high speed. We're already in the fully closed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yep, there we go. Rebound, same thing. Put them in. Screw them in by hand. Always by hand first. And this guy here, 6.8 Newton meters. .85. Test him out. Oh, yeah. Fully closed and fully open. Cool. Next, we put on our lockout dial. There is a O-ring that we need to change. underneath it, pull them out. Okay. Down. And this guy's got to be this guy right here. Yep, definitely that guy. Old and new. Put some grease on him. Slip him in. All right. So now we need to put this guy, clean that knob. Let's not have too much grease on the outside. So if you notice, this thing's round, but he has a flat side. That flat side needs to match up with that screw, okay? And it locks onto that knob. So this is our reservoir cap, right? Now, if we remember, the knob starts from here and it goes all the way around to here. So that's our screw, right? So we know that we want the screw to point this way. So that means that the flat part of this thing needs to install towards that screw, right? And it goes just like that. So now what we're going to do is, well, if I had it handy, I thought I had it handy. Just tighten this down by finger for now, just like that. Okay, and it moves. Now let's finish the reservoir. So we mounted the eyelet onto the soft jaw. Grab our springs. Cone spring, wide part goes down. Then we have this butterfly valve. The butterfly valve, these notches sit on those nipples over there. Okay, so just like that. Although they will float, there is a trick to make it sit to make sure you got it on there right. We have our piston. Piston has a seal. We need to change out this seal. Okay, this one, it's got to be that one there for sure. Let's just clean the seat. Okay, grab a little bit of grease, put it on the seal. Don't put too much grease. Okay, put it back onto the seal. Now, those little nipples need to fall into these slots. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to press down, use something to press down on that. And then we're going to roll this guy onto those nipples just like this. Okay, how do we know it works? Take the dial. That's your firm and open position for your compression, your pedal mode basically, right? So we want, what's up to you where you want this position. You have the option over here to position it where you'd like it, right? But typically the middle would be, the middle being this way, would be your full firm. Actually, no, this would be your full firm. So where the buttons are over here, aligned straight with the buttons would be the full firm, and the middle over here, perpendicular to the buttons, the dials, would be your fully open, right? So just like that, unless it's backwards, either one or the other one. So that's how we know we are, well, in the correct position, basically, to be able to use these dials. This comes into play now. So next, let's put on the reservoir. First, let's clean it up. Any grease or anything that's in there, make sure it's all clean and empty inside of any dirt. Okay, there's a seat in here. That's where that piston sits. Let's make sure it's all clean. That is clean. Okay, next we're going to take some Loctite and blue, put a little bit. Don't go too crazy with it. Let it sink into the threads. Blow it into the threads. Okay. Now, when we put this thing in, that piston, that O-ring, that seal is going to suck onto the side and the whole thing's going to want to spin. We don't want to do that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in. We're going to start it just like this. By hand. Always by hand, right? And you can tell that the piston's not fully centered to it, but it will. And you will see it's going to start spinning. We're going to hold on to that. Okay, just like that. Now as it gets tighter, it's going to want to turn the whole mechanism. First, let's test it. Okay, we're still good, right? Our on-off is working. So let's leave it on or off, whatever, all the way this position or whatever position you want it to be in. Like I said, you have control over here to change the position to wherever you'd like it to be, but this would be typical, right? So keep on spinning as much as you can by hand. Test it, we're still good. Next, we torque them. To torque them, we put them back in the soft shop for the reservoir. Clean the reservoir, make sure there's no grease on it so it doesn't slip around. I had to put on my mount. If you have a standard, you don't have to worry about it. You just use whatever you want to use as far as a wrench. And then we torque them down, get in there, 13.8 Newton meters. A little bit tighter. And boom, 13.88. Perfect. Test them. Yep, he's working. That's our firm towards the buttons and our medium. Again, if you wanted it further back, you had the opportunity to adjust it to wherever you want, but this is more than good enough for everybody, in my opinion, but it's your choice. And that is it. Next, we work on the damper. For the damper, first, we're going to start with cleaning and changing all the seals, okay? There's quite a bit going on over here. So first, let's grab our body, spray it with alcohol, scrub it down, clean the threads real well. Clean the inside real well, clean the inside threads. Okay. Okay, done. Grab the inner, oh yeah, that's right, I put this guy in here because oil was dripping out. Let's get some lint-free cloths for the inside. Okay, well, that's looking good. Right, now, if you remember correctly, we had Loctite red on this, see, and there's still residual. Try and get all the residual out. If you can't get it out, grab a plastic brush. It's important, really important, that we get good connection on this part, because what holds it together. Okay, one more time, spin it around. And we should be good. Yep. Oh, that's looking a lot cleaner. Cool. Remember, we got the threads on the inside, but those don't have Loctite on them. Next, we grab our IFP. IFP has a O-ring. Take it out, be careful. There's a Teflon seal over here. We could take it out. I wouldn't. It could actually turn into a bigger pain in the butt than it's worth trying to replace it. I mean, again, you sort of take a risk, right? Overstretching it and all that stuff. If this thing's in good, actually, this thing has a mark on it. Yep. Yep, there it is. I could even move it. There's a big scratch in it. Why does it have a big scratch like that? Okay, I got to take it out. Get underneath it. Okay, so that's the old one. That's the new one. Let's clean this thing, clean the seats. I do not know why it has a scratch like that, but it was a pretty decent gouge, and that is not good. And it does not make sense that it has a gouge, but who knows. Put that on the side. Okay, let's grab a little bit of grease, make this life easier going on. Oh, what the? Okay. So here we got to be careful. We don't want to overstretch it. Okay, so take them and there we go, just like that. Okay, here's the O-ring. That's got to be one of these two over here. Good enough. Oops. Take the seal, put some grease on it, and put that guy over now. Where's my 2mm? This guy should have. Wow, he's on there tight. Holy cow. There we go. And O-ring, might as well change him out. That is definitely this guy here. Old, new, grease. Okay. Put him in. Screw him down. Leave him on the side. Now, over here we have a few seals going on. Okay, so for starters, we have our wiper. Put them on the side. Then on the inside we have a quad ring and a Teflon ring and another white Teflon ring. Okay, now this guy, I need a good rinse. He collects dirt, lots and lots and lots of dirt. Okay, just like any air can wiper and seal seats, we're going to go in there and clean them real well. Okay, first we want to make a corner and go into the actual wiper seat. Try and get out any dirt that might be sitting in there. See, just like that. Okay. And we want to do the same to the seal seat on the inside. So this guy's clean. Now we find the replacements. And that, I'm pretty sure, is this guy right here. Yep. And these two over here should be it. Yep. Just these two over there. And our wiper is over here. All right. So first, let's put in. Put a little bit of grease on them just to make them easier to slip in. Oops. So on the outside is the wiper. The inside seat over here, we'll start off with, wait a second. It's not this guy. No, this is split ring. That's that. So we'll start off with this guy here. Okay, thought I had him in. There we go. Then we will sink him down all the way. Okay, make sure he's sitting down. Then we will put in our quad ring. Now the quad ring, and frame, yeah. We want to make sure that he does not get twisted in here. And you need to be 1000% sure. Because if he gets twisted, you got problems. So inspect him, check him all the way around, and he is not twisted. Good. Then, just a thin coat. Goes on top of the quad ring. Slip him in. There we go. It's one side. Just walk them all the way around. Careful with them. Don't overbend them. And done. Good. Now clean the outside. Clean the seat for the wiper because we don't want too much grease around the wiper. We want it dry. Do not want to track dirt around this thing on the inside. Done. We have our bearing assembly, multiple seals over here, right? These are technically like 50-hour seals. This is an internal seal. And then there's a seal we got to change on the inside. So first let's take out this seal over here. Okay, we'll put it on the side. And then over here are split rings. Take them out. Come on. Grab our quad ring. Be careful. Use a blunt tool. Take him out, take out the next split ring. Line frame, sorry. Okay, now on the inside, we have a seal, black seal, that we're going to replace with this guy here. So, it's like a quad ring. And this quad ring is going to be replaced with this guy here. So that's the new one. So let's clean this guy real well. Clean the seat. Clean everything. Let's clean the inside. And we inspect the bushing. Let's get in there and clean it first. Come on. Yeah, look at this. I just can't get a break today. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's not good. So this bushing's definitely got some wire on it. Is it the end of the world? No, but that is definitely not good. Okay, it should be pretty much flawless like this side over here. So this side was definitely rubbing pretty bad at one point. Technically, this would need to get changed out, but that is not going to happen over here today. So it is what it is. We will keep it going. And he shouldn't have really any issues. So first, let's put in this guy here now for this inner bushing. What I like doing is filling up the seat with a lot of grease. Okay. Then we're going to do put a little bit of grease on the bushing. Sink one side in, just like that. And then the other side, we try and get them in the seat. Just like that. Nope, not like that. Like, come on. Like, oop, nearly had him. Like that, perfect. It's going to pop out on the bottom, but we're not going to let him pop out. What we're going to do is we're going to tuck him up. Just like like, whoop, nearly had him, nearly there. Just like that. Take the excess grease. Pull them out. Now, grab this, the old one. This is obviously the new one. Grab a little bit of grease on him. Put him in his slot. Right there. Looking good. New quad ring. New split rings. A little bit of grease on the new quad ring. Put him on. Make sure he's not twisted. No, he's not. A little bit of grease on the new split rings. Make sure they're seated correctly, right? Just like that. You do not want split rings to sit like this. They need to sit like that. A little bit of grease on this one. Give him some space. We'll bring him around this side so we don't overstretch him. That's one side, and boom, done. It's good to also leave the split ring openings offset from each other. That takes care of that piece. We got our cap. So our cap, we have right on the outside. This we want to clean real well. I guarantee you this guy's got dirt on him. We definitely don't want dirt falling into the reservoir because then we're hosed. Clean. That's the O-ring for this one. Put a little grease on him. Slip them in there. Okay. Next we have our piston. We have a seal inside the shaft. To do that, we have to remove the piston. Guys, technically you don't have to do this, but again, I'm going to try and do as much of a full service as I can. So this is a 3/8 shaft. Clean it of all grease. Make sure it's totally clear of grease. put in a 3/8. Clamp down on it real well, and then a 19mm socket to loosen it. Doesn't take all that much. Separate it, and then, oh man, greasy. Then hold the bottom. Okay. And we are going to take out the whole thing one shot. There we go. Just like that. Okay. And leave it intact. And in here, at the bottom in here, we have a seal. Okay. A little bit tricky to get out. So he's right at the edge over here. And there we go. Nope, nearly there. You can see he's like right here. He's literally right at the edge of the band over here, right? So what we're going to do is put him vertical, just like that. Grab anything that's long enough now to just force him through. Grab the skewer. It didn't work quite well. Oh, there we go. There he is at the bottom. And ta-da! Okay. Now, another thing with this guy has a lot of Loctite on him, right? We want to clean off all that Loctite. Here we could use a metal brush. Spray them all down. Clean the inside here best we can. All right, this one. Okay, a little bit of grease on them. Squish them, sink them into one side. As you get them in a seat. Okay, in a seat now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use this guy and try and pop him into place, just like that. Done. Finish them up. Spray them with alcohol. Wipe off any excess grease. Now we're going to put them back in the shaft. Threads go down. Flat part stays up. Give yourself some space. Why? We're going to put on our bearing assembly. Okay? So before we put this on, let's put some grease on the inside over here. Spread around on the bushing. Okay. Now, threads up. This might be a little bit stiff. There we go. Clean all excess grease off those threads. We want those threads grease free. Okay. We're going to take it one further. A little bit of alcohol. Like I said, we want these threads completely grease free. Spin it around in there. Let it break up and absorb any grease in the threads. Might seem like overkill, but our piston is going in there. And we want this to stay in there. Now this next step, I highly recommend you do not attempt. Just ignore it or just watch it for fun unless you have the proper tools to get this done, okay? So we are not going to mess with the shim stack outside of taking out the bottom portion of it in order to change this Teflon ring. You never change your Teflon ring unless there are marks on it, if it's worn, scuffed, or, you know, I mean, it has issues. It's going to, if you don't have the tools, it's going to make your life miserable. Just, well, not that it's going to make it miserable, guys, but it's not worth the potential headache, put it that way, right? So what I'm going to do is be extremely careful over here. Separate this bottom. Now, move this cap. There's a shim under there. That's why we got to be careful. Okay, there's a spacer shim. Now what I'm going to do is move and get me one of these guys. Okay, so separate the top half from the bottom half. All right, and be very careful over here. As I'm taking this out, I'm holding on to my shim stack. I'm going to leave this on the side just like this. Okay, now I will separate the shim stack from the piston. All right, so now I know I'm intact. So now I could go ahead and change this Teflon ring. Now this is a stepped ring. We only get one. So there's obviously a step in here, right? Let's try this one. It's got a flat edge. Okay. I got no choice but to replace them. Make sure I don't stab myself. Great. This one was harder than it needed to be. Okay, now, so the step is obviously at the bottom on this side over here. Come on. Okay, yep. All right, put him on the side. He's garbage. Let's clean him. Oops. Clean the seat. Now we said the step was on the bottom. Put a little bit of grease on the inside just so it slips in a little bit easier. It might be easier to do it this way. There we go. Okay, looking better. There you go. Nearly there. All right, so I'm in. So as you see right now, he's, well, a little bit loose, but actually this one's in good shape. Now what you can do is basically put him in the tube that he goes up there and let him sit there for a while, but make sure he's perfectly flat. Now I have a tool for this, right, for taking care of this. It's piston band sizer, and what it does, it squeezes. I'm so glad I found this tool again. Squeezes the piston into shape, basically. Do it by hand up to a certain point, and then you need a vise to easily clamp him down, and then he pops out. Oop, there you go. All done. Now he is completely pushed into place. Now we put it all together. Got the bearing assembly with the rod tied down to the, or clamped down to the vise. This is our shaft. Now we have to remember that this shaft has to align. This, the bottom part, is your rebound knob basically. So this has to basically align in here, right? So it's got to fit. This is the same square shape, or this is square, this is not. Point B, it's got to slip inside, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy in. We're not going to put him all the way down yet. We're just going to leave him like that, okay? So it's my VVC, my rebound shims. Now, this side looks like a star. This one looks like 3 fans or 3 blades, right? The star side goes towards the rebound shims. Just like that. Keep it all together. Now we have our compression shims. So what we're going to do here is, before we take them out, slip them all in and then slip out the there we go. All fall in nicely. Make sure they're all down at the bottom. Everything's compressed and stacked. Okay, so everything's all nice and stacked. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in. We always want to hold this part up. We want to hold this tight, but we want to screw this down, right? So that is our rebound, high-speed rebound, right, on the VVC. So again, We don't want to let go and sink it in because it's all going to split apart and we don't want that to happen. So as we put this in, we're always going to hold it together, right? There we go. I just fit into the rod at the bottom. Now I'm going to push that rod down. Well, technically I can't yet, but what we're going to do now is as we're putting pressure, see, that's what happens when you let it sink. We are going to, don't let it sink. See, that's what you don't want to do. You do not want to let it sink. Okay, so make sure everything is sitting correctly, nice and tight, right? So again, we have our rod in there. We push a little bit more down. So I just pushed a rebound rod past the seal at the bottom, right? So now we're going to put this guy in. And again, now he's sitting better. That's easier. So now we're going to hold him up as we're screwing this down. Nope, we do not want that to happen. It's exactly what you don't want to happen. Let's take him out again. There we go, just like that. Now he's sitting correctly. Okay, now I got grip on it, or at least screwing into it. Again, I'm putting pressure upwards on it, right? I don't want it to separate. I want it to be all clamped down as one mechanism until I get to the end. There I am. So I'm at the end. It's as hard as I can do it. Let's see if I can do a little bit more before I torque it. Nope, that's good. I should be able to torque it. Now, my rebound knob is sticking out at the bottom. What I can do, if you happen to have one, is, well, you could use anything, but a 3/8 will work just fine, right? To hold the rebound knob in one place so things don't spin around. Look at this. I gotta bring it out a little bit more. There we go. Okay, because what we need to do is torque it, but the whole thing might spin inside, right? Would help if I actually turn on the torque wrench. 9 Newton meters, but it's probably going to spin is my bet. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold on to that rebound knob. Yep, the other way. You could use a plier. You could use anything you want. Whatever makes your life easier. And we're going to take them 2, 7, 8, and 9.02. That's as precise as you could get. Well, not really, because it could have got 9 even. And that's it. So now what we can do is test it. We should be able to easily spin our PVC. And there you go. Boom, that's your rebound. You don't hear the clicks because the clicks are inside the cap on the knob. That's where the bearings are, right? But we know we are working just great. And it feels nice and easy to move too. So perfect. Next, we take the eyelet, we put it into the clamp. We're going to take the inner body, right? Now, if you remember, there was a seal at the bottom. We need to sink this thing down to the seal so the holes point up. The solid part goes down, right? But you have to make sure that you'll hear that snap when it gets around those seals, right? So then we have our main body. We're going to take a Loctite. I'm going to be relatively generous here because this is a very important part. And we're going to put it around. All right, just like that. Okay. Let it sink in. Blow on it. There we go. Now we're going to take them. Be careful. Untap. Screw them down by hand. Go backwards first till you cue the first click. There we go. And then screw them forward. Well, that is going to be tight. That's all we could do. We mount them in our 1 1/4 inch hole in our soft jaw. I put on my mount. If you have a standard, do whatever you're using. And we're going to screw them down. Make sure your body's clean, right? Clean the grease off of it. First, we're going to screw it down by hand. So we can't screw it down anymore. Okay, and then we're going to take them 16.3 newton meters. And I'm already there, 17 actually. I'm a little bit tighter than I thought. Wow. Now, our sag ring. Don't forget the sag ring. Unlike other shocks, and don't put grease on it, this is our only chance to put the sag ring in. You do not want to forget that sag ring now. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to take our 20 weight oil and give it a bit of a coat on the inside over here. Okay. Just like that. Be generous. All right. We're going to take this guy, roll him in. It's going to be a little bit stiff. On. Now we're ready to start the bleed process. For the bleed, we're going to need a few things. 4 weight oil for starters, right? Make sure you have your 6 and your 3 millimeter Allens handy. 2 millimeter to make sure that the bleed bolt is locked, or at least shut. Keep this handy. We're going to need it later. All right. Tape and scissors. To start off, what we're going to do is, well, first what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy and we are going to mount him. Hopefully this looks okay. All right. Then what we are going to do is clean off the reservoir. Get rid of any grease or oil or anything. Make sure he's clean. Actually, make a clean spot here too. Okay. Now, cut about 5 inches of tape. Put the non-sticky side down. Then cut about the same distance, same length, and place the sticky side on the other one. And basically what we are doing here, we are creating an extended funnel to make our lives a little bit easier. Okay, well, a little too extended. I'm going to clip some of the top. I don't need all that. So, all right, get my fingers in there easier. Come on. All right, put that on the side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take oil and, for starters, make sure that our knobs are in the fully open position. So our pedal knob fully open this way, right? When it's towards the dials, it's locked. The other way, it's open. Turn your high-speed compression clockwise and then turn it counterclockwise till you reach the end. Don't force the end. Move forward 1 click. Do the same thing for your low-speed compression. Go clockwise first and then go counterclockwise. Don't force the end. Move forward 1 click and your rebound clockwise, counterclockwise, and then 1 click forward for the end. All right. So now we're going to take oil. We're going to fill up this tube here for now. Let it equalize. Let all those bubbles come out. See, starting to come out. That tells us all our ports are open right now. That's coming out real good, actually, so we know we are doing good, right? And this is going to equalize now, right? Now, what we can do to help it is grab our high speed and turn those dials in order to, you saw those little spots in there, all those little areas where the bearings are, where the spring is, everything. Well, just that whole area in there, well, not the entire area, but a good chunk of that area essentially needs oil in it, and air gets trapped in there real easy. Low speed as well. Just go back and forth a few times as it's filling up. Remember, always leave it in the open position and never force the open nor force to close. Because if you force the opens, they will stick on those circlips. Okay. This is equalizing nicely. Again, let's help it. The high speed is the one that usually requires the most attention. Okay. All right, let's put a little bit more oil in here. And you have to remember the oil is not just on the inside. It's also on the outside of that inner tube, right? It's a dual flow system. It goes all the way around, almost like a figure, well, not a figure eight, but well, sort of, really. Okay. So far, so good. Glazing nicely. Now what we are going to do is we're going to take any kind of rubber glove, used one. Now let's force air bubbles up. The more attention we pay here, and it's going to pay off big time later. So take your time here. There's no rush. That's the reason I put the extra wall over here, so we have all the room in the world to go back and forth. Okay. Now we don't want this to go below those holes because air will get to the backside and we'll just push it in and out. Okay. What we can do is, for now, to help us out, use a rubber band. There we go. Okay, this way, can help it out a bit. Okay. Do the small ones. See the little bulbs coming out the edge right there? That's probably from this guy. Bit of a coincidence, I would say, or not too much of a coincidence. Whoop. This guy here. Okay, let's go back to our high speed. Okay. What do we look like here? Now, I wouldn't worry about all that oil in there. We're actually going to use that. Where are bubbles coming out? Okay, let's keep on going. Basically, we're going to do this until we don't see any more bubbles. Where's the rubber band? Ah, are you kidding me? Is it me? Or are quality rubber bands hard to find these days? I swear, it seems like every rubber band I get breaks so easy. I don't remember it being like that in the past. Okay. Let's leave him. I should remove this guy here. Whoops, see that? That's why we move everything. I forgot to move him, and look at all the air that was trapped underneath it. That was actually quite a bit of air. Okay. Leave him in the open. Let's do this guy again. Again, not a hard bleed. Definitely not as easy as a typical piggyback, but a bit of a time-consuming bleed. Well, right now we are looking pretty good. I'm thinking that we're ready for the next step. Yep, I don't see anything coming out of there. This guy one more time. Yep. I think we're doing great. Next, we close them up. Make sure you have your bearing tool handy, okay? So here's our piston assembly, crow's foot, torque wrench. What we are going to do, we're going to fill up this side to the top. Okay. Swipe off any bubbles that you see. Come on, fill up. Swipe off any bubbles that you see, right? Close them up. Give them a couple of taps. Okay, reason we close them up so he doesn't equalize. So, fill him to the tap. Oops, I wasn't supposed to do that. Now we're going to take our bearing assembly. What we're going to do is we are going to slowly put him in. Slowly. There is no rush over here. Let all those ports fill up. The more they fill up, the better. Take your time. Absolutely no rush. We're going to displace a good amount of oil. And we want to make our lives easier from a bleed portion. You saw what it looks like in there. There's a lot of holes inside that bearing. Don't worry about this. Oil will take care of that. Put it in, slip it down, make sure it's all tight, and then we are going to screw it all. Come on, why is it not screwing in? There we go. Okay, take our tool. Nope, that can't be right. That is not sitting right. I knew something was wrong. Why is he not screwing in? That's not good. You might run across this issue as well. Okay, let's take some oil from here. I need to fit a syringe later anyway. Let's put it back on the other side before it equalizes again. Nope, that's not good. Okay, just fill them up, fill them up, fill them up, fill them up. Don't take any bubbles. Let anything come to the top. Okay, put oil to the top, take out any bubbles, and once again, we are going to put him in slowly. Let those ports fill up. We sink them and screw them in. Okay, that's feeling better already. Okay, where's our tool? Oh, it's on top. Grab our crow's wrench, crow's foot. Take them. And then torque wrench, 90-degree angle, and 16.3 Newton meters. Put them on here, and 16.49. I'll take it. I will take it. All right. Now let's clean up whatever little mess we made. A little bit more of a mess than what should have happened, but it's okay. I think we did ourselves justice here. Let's close. Always close your oil. You never want it to spill. Okay, now, again, let's take our syringe. Let's bring them all the way down. And then we're going to suck as much oil as we can out of here. We're going to need it to finish the bleed anyway. All right. Okay. So next what we're going to do, we're going to take our 2mm. We are going to take out our bleed screw. Take out our bleed screw. Make sure it, oops. And now we're going to put in, watch out, because it's going to want to do it on an angle down. Okay. Put them in. It's going to want to spurt on top. There we go. Put them in. Oops. Okay. Now we're going to take our bleed screw. We are going to put it back in. All right. Okay. So I don't need all that oil. I can put some of this back. All right. Take the rest of this. And we're good. On to the next step. Next, let's finish up with the top cap and, in this case, the travel limiter. So first let's clean it. I don't think I cleaned any of this yet. Get cleaning, smoke all on it, rub it down. 1, 2, and clean the plate. Careful with the screws. 3. Okay, so this guy's travel limiters. Line up the holes. It's over here. Now the camera's in the way. Now this one is going to be even more in the way, I bet. Yep, sorry about that, folks. But I'm in pretty tight quarters here. Give it a good finger tight. Okay. All right, now next, let's take off our tape. Be able to do it from here. Nope. Maybe. Yep. All right. Take off our tape. Now we had sunk our IFP. What we are going to do now is take our circlip. You put it in a little bit more. Basically, we're going to take our clip, put it in a seat right above. So this way we can bleed and it won't pop out. Now we try and finish the bleed. So for starters, let's make sure we have some added oil in our syringe. Okay, so what we're going to do is take out all the air first. Actually, what you do is suck it all down, fill up all that air into the syringe, bring the oil to the top, put it in here, squirt it down before you suck it all up. And we should have basically just oil. That should be way more than enough. Way, way, way more than enough. Okay, now, this Fox tool for this comes in mega, mega handy. Is it needed? No, not 100%. But the nice thing about it is, again, it locks on the IFP. Well, that gives us leverage to go up and down on the IFP in order to bleed, okay? So you could do it by your finger. The C-clip will stop it from coming out. Ultimately, again, with your finger, you can push it up and then use pressure to bring it back down, but this makes it a lot easier to deal with it, right? So I'm just going to take it and basically lock it in there. Go here. Where are you? Wow. Why is it not logging in? I was just logged in. That's funny. What's going on? Oh, on there. Oh. What the? Look at that. Why is it not doing it now? Too funny. There we go. Okay, so now it's locked in, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp him real well vertically here, okay? There we go. Make sure he's clamped down real good. Now, what we're also going to do, in fact, I should have done this before. We're going to use this as leverage to pick the shaft up and down. So we're just going to screw this on, okay? Now, I'm going to grab our 2mm. We are going to remove our bleed screw. A bit of oil might come out. Okay, no oil came out. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in our syringe. Let me see if I get a better angle for you guys to see. Okay, we know that everything, well, let's double check to be sure, right? Make sure that all our knobs, everything's in the open position. Okay, that's fully open, clockwise, there we go. And this guy, clockwise, there we go. Okay, fully open, and well, before we checked him, but our rebound should be fully open. I know he's fully open, I already checked him. So, now what we are going to do is essentially go back and forth using the IFP as pressure, right? Just like that. Pick it up. And we push down the syringe. And we are going to go back and forth. So, okay. Now, let's pick up our shaft all the way up. Now we're going to push it all the way down. Okay. Now again, the issue here is that it's a full circulatory system, right? So everything is always going all the way around, which makes it a little bit more tricky than your typical piggyback shock. Piggyback shocks have, well, demarcation points really, because this one doesn't. Okay. We're going to do this until, see a little bubble there, more little bubbles. That's coming, remainders coming out of, let them go up to the top. Wish I had something I could lean this on. More little bubbles. Okay. Let them go to the top. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. Great. Are they all gone? Yes, they are. Let's push it all back down again. Come on. There we go. Now, shaft back up. And considering how much we bled before, I mean, it's sounding really quiet already. Oh, here's some sounds. There's definitely some air in there. Oh, there's some air that came out. Right, so basically we're picking up the shaft, we're pressing down the syringe until the shaft goes to the end. But unfortunately, again, by pressing down, we're adding pressure, which is going to take it through the outside of that sleeve and up into the dials, hence why we need to also do this. See, get little bubbles out of the dials. Okay. Wow, we're looking really good, guys. Told you, the more effort you put in the beginning, it pays big time at the end. Let's do this guy again. Well, nothing coming out of him. Guys, we are clean. We are absolutely clean. I would say right now, we're doing super. Cool. I'm going to do the reservoir one more time. If I don't see anything, we're done outside of setting the IFP. Okay. Yep, we're good. Yep, we are good. Awesome. Bring them all the way down. Okay. Let's set the IFP. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, there we go, and I'm going to press up. That's why I like this tool, is that you can't overshoot. Okay, there we go. And we are at the top. Now what I'm going to do is take out the bleed screw, release the syringe. Oh. Okay. Hold on to that. Perfect. You want extra oil in there, right? I can let go. Oh, my tool's locked in there. And with the overfilled oil, we're going to put our bleed screw back in. Tie it down, hand tight. Finish up the reservoir, easy enough. First, we're going to take out our circlip. Okay. Then what we are going to do, we're going to put a thin coat of grease in here. Okay. I want to make sure that thing is tied down real well. So what I'm going to do is grab a needle nose just to hold it on the side. And, oh yeah, he's good. Cool. Now we can close it back up and feel better about it. Put the cap on. Here is this guy corroding. Probably just my eyes. Okay, circlip on. All right, pick them up again. Put them in a position that's easy to. Put them in. All right, fill them up with air. We need the adapter for the IFP, right? There's the Fox one. You could use any one. They're all the same, basically. Find the cheapest one you could get. Okay. There we go. Put them in. Then we screw in this guy all the way down. And then, there we go. And we fill them up to 100 psi. There we go, 100. Now, unscrew them from the adapter. Do not unscrew them from the hose. All right. Now let's put our little cap on before we forget them. Schrader tool. Now we test them. So this is pretty sharp, so grab something, to make it easier to push in. So we are in the open mode. All our dials in the fully open position. We should be able to squeeze them in. And he should come out. That's pretty good. That's real good. Okay. So that's looking good. Now let's put them in a fully locked. Yep. That's a lot a lot harder. That's not going anywhere. Fully open again. Now let's test our low speed rebound. So we're in the fully open. Let's go to the fully closed. Yep, that ain't going anywhere. So that looks like it's working just fine. Let's open it back up. And there she goes. As far as low speed compression, you're really not going to feel it all that much. It's going to be a little bit stiffer, but I mean, it's definitely stiffer, but nothing of significance. High speed compression, you're not going to feel a thing. And even rebound, it's not going to have an effect. To give you an idea, take a 4mm socket or an Allen socket, basically close it all the way closed. And again, that's for high speed rebound. You know what I mean? It'll have to be a hard impact, as is the high speed compression. If I change the high speed compression, it won't make a difference here, because we just don't have, at least I don't have enough force. Maybe you guys are a lot stronger than me, but again, I don't feel a difference. I'd have to like really pump it in there, right, to feel the difference. So it's not a big difference, put it that way. She looks like she's working great. Let's finish her up. Finish it up, we're gonna clean and change all the seals and the remaining components, okay? So this is our inner air can. We have a split ring and a seal under it. Okay, so the split ring above, seal underneath. Now what we are going to do, take alcohol and clean him real well. All right. Clean the threads on the inside. Clean the whole tube on the inside. Okay, clean the seats real well. Okay. That's good. Now we have our remaining rings here. These are obviously for this guy here. So what we're going to do, take some grease, put them on the O-ring, and again, he goes on the bottom, and then the new split ring goes above him. Make sure the split ring is seating correctly, or at least connects correctly. So, there we go, just like that, right? So this guy's done. Now this guy here, we have our rebound knob. Come in here, we're going to clean him. He too has a ring above and a split ring towards the outside. So the split rings go towards the outside. Push this guy aside. Now he has a bumper. Take the bumper, put it on the side. And inside we have a seal at the base over here. There we go. It's a little bit deep in there, a little bit hard, but you'll get them. There we go. Okay, small seal. Let's keep that there so we can match him with the other small ones. Let's clean him real well. Clean the threads in here. Try and clean the threads on the inside, because that's where the Loctite is, even though any residuals can be really hard to get it out of there, but we could try it. Okay. Clean the seat on the outside here. Okay, any sand or dirt out of it. Now we want to clean the area where the rebound knob is. Put some paper towel through, stuff it through. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Let's stuff it through. And there we go. That's our ball. That is clean in there. Clean our knob. Make sure the shaft that connects to the actual rebound shaft is clean, or the hole that connects to the rebound shaft is clean, and that takes care of that. Now, let's put in the seal. It's this one here. It's the new one. That's the old one. Take a little bit of grease, put him in. Take him. We're going to stuff him in. Okay, just like he is. Then we're going to tuck him in on one side near the bottom. There we go. And now force the other side down. And we're in. Yay. Okay. Got our new seals on the outside here. Actually, let's put our bumper in. It's sort of like a cone. Narrow part goes down. Wide part stays up. All right. Put a little bit of grease on this guy here. So first, well, let's put this guy first, but he goes up. Remember, he stays up, and then the split ring goes above him. Make sure you see it correctly. And we have our rebound knob. Now, if you notice on your knob, you have these teeth. Those are the teeth that make the clicking noises. So the teeth go down. The top part faces up, right to the eyelet piece. So just like that. All right. So that's when we turn it, we hear the clicks. That guy's done. Now we have our air can. Let's clean him good. Yeah. The inside good. Okay. Clean the ridge on the inside here good. Don't leave any paper left over. Okay. Good. Make sure that we have no grit on this guy because he collects dirt. To assemble him, first thing we're going to do, we are going to take just a little bit more grease, put them around this inner seal over here. Then we're going to take some 20 weight oil, put them on top of that. Don't go too crazy. Okay. Then we're going to take our air can. We're going to put them in. Now, when we put them in, we're going to put about a cc of 20 weight again, or Fox fluid, the blue one, right? So say about that much. Okay, now we're going to screw them on. Okay, let's do the most we can by hand for now. And then what we are going to do is we are going to put him in our soft jaw. Take our tool with the torque wrench, 20 Newton meters. We're going to put them in, find the slots. There we go. Oop, just had them. Again, push down on them. And 21. We're good. Next, we clean the shaft, put them in the 3/8 hole again, right? Then after we know the shaft is clean, we are going to put a little bit of Loctite on the top threads. Not much. There we go. Spread it around. Okay. Make sure your knob is centered in the middle, right? Your rebound knob. We're going to put it in. Make sure you find the shaft, and then we spin it in. Okay, so you can't do it anymore by hand. Actually, it's probably more than enough. And then torque wrench. Use whatever you got as a tool, and 9 Newton meters. There you go, 9.07. And we take them out. Now we grab this guy, put a little bit of oil in there, 2 cc's or milliliters, right? So, put some oil in him. Should be more than enough. And let's try and screw them in by hand first. Over here, let's make sure our rebound, oh yeah, our rebound clicks are working. Let's bring them to the fast again. Okay, close them up, put them on the eyelet, grab our tool, do them by hand as much as we can, and then torque wrench, 20 Newton meters. it's going to be the easiest way to do this, probably here. There we go. Hold down on it, and there we go. Oop, 22. That's hot. Before we install the outer air can, let's put some grease underneath where the O-ring is, right on the underside. On each side, again, on the O-ring part, not above the O-ring part. All right. And then make sure these 2 notches are facing you. Find 2 notches over here. And basically we are going to align them, right? The notches are facing up. So we're going to take them and somewhere in there, it's going to be a little bit stiff. There we go. Clamp it down. Make sure they're aligned. And we are going to do the reverse of what we did before. So basically put him underneath like that, flip him around, and spin him until he's not locked in on this. That's deceiving. So spin him around. There we go. Keep on going. And after this, he will be locked in. I said he will be locked in. There we go. Now we take him and we spin him away. Right? So keep him in between any of those notches. Next, spray him down real well with alcohol. Get all the old grease. Get all grease, oil, everything off the body. Because unfortunately this shock, it has a lot of places for dirt to get trapped. And there you have it, folks. And I'd like to say, outstanding job. You just finished fully servicing a Fox Factory Series Float X2 rear shock. Again, this was a full service, a lot going on over here, but you don't have to do everything that we just did in this video. Certain things are optional, other things just stay away from. But if something goes wrong, for instance, a dial gets stuck, you can use this video as a reference to try and solve a problem, all right? As always, make sure you put in your PSI, make sure you put your pressure. Don't forget your cap. Put your dials back to where they were before. After your first 4, 5, 6 rides, make sure to keep on cleaning your stanchion just to make sure that too much dirt doesn't build up on the wiper and make its job harder than it needs to be. Besides that, you take this thing, you go out there and you beat the hell out of it and have as much fun as you possibly can. That's what this thing is for. All right. So, folks, if you like this video, please click the like button, man. It would be super appreciated. Click the subscribe button to see more videos. Click the bell button, what-ding, to get notified when new videos get released and more videos like this are coming. Till then, I hope all is well with all of you, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one.